Financial freedom is not a mansion. Financial freedom is a number. And once you know yours, everything in life can change. We are Caleb and Mary Beth Lutz. We're talking about what they don't teach you. We were both teachers, me in secondary math teaching, Mary Beth in elementary. We started paying attention to what was and wasn't taught. And a huge passion of ours has been to fill in the gaps of especially two areas, because no matter what you choose to do in your life, you've got to get good at making money and you've got to get good at communicating and working with people. And so we're really excited to dive in and define what financial freedom actually means and looks like.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
And when it comes to financial freedom, the 3 points that we're actually going to dive into and cover today are: first, what financial freedom actually means; second, your escape number that you can actually know to pursue the dreams that you have and not let money control you any longer; and third, the gap to get there and how to close it for your financial freedom.
Very good. So let's talk about what financial freedom actually is and just dive right in. Yeah. And I think that a lot of when you talk about what something is, first you need to talk about what leads up to it. Both of our journeys started very much on the financial lack side. Yep. As soon as we were adults, that is. Mm-hmm. You'll see us cover our story in other tracks. Me very much grew up in lower middle class at first, and then when my family lost our farm, poverty, and not knowing when the next paycheck was coming in, when there would be enough. And there's definitely implications from that. But even as an adult, once I graduated with my teaching degree and got out into the school systems, all of a sudden I was like, how is there so much more to pay for than what anyone actually prepped me for? And I was paying for all of it on my own from 20 years old and on. And so that was a very rude awakening that I think so many people run into is, where is my money going? I think the big transition from financial lack to financial stability is just doing that. It's knowing where your money is going. And this is part of our intro chapters, and please jump in whenever you want to, but you've got to get a budget together and actually put pen to paper or digits to a computer of where the outflow and where the income is coming in. Because once you know where that money is going and what is coming in, again, then you can start making changes and shifts and upgrade. And it's so much easier and sexier to want to say, oh, let me just make all this income. But you have to know where it's going.
That is in any area of life.
Absolutely.
You have to know how to manage money. This is whether you are a family learning how to budget for your kids. This is if you're a business owner. My gosh, how many businesses have failed because they don't know budgeting basics at the end of the day. And what you were mentioning about budgeting, I remember when I wasn't making a lot of money, there was almost like this anxiety that came sometimes with checking my bank account. And I think it was because I almost didn't want to look at it, because it was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to find there. The ironic thing is I ended up kind of getting out of that hole by actually budgeting, which sounds really crazy. At the end of the day, you would think, like, if you have that fear, oh, I just don't want to look at it. But facing the fear and realizing, wait a second, I have a certain amount to work with. Do I want more to work with? Absolutely. And we'll talk about our progression there at some point. But when I actually put pen to paper and I did basics, groceries, how much was I actually spending? Going back through 3 months of my last bank statements and just highlighting areas and kind of creating categories for myself, just with gas, car insurance, like understanding, okay, these are the things every month coming out, like rent or a house payment versus the variable expenses. Like it could be, maybe there's a big event that a friend invites you to that you don't pay for very often, and that's like a variable expense. So budgeting is about knowing what your standard basics are, the ones that come out every single month, having a good gauge, but also leaving room for yourself for, hey, do I want to save a certain amount? Hey, do I want to invest a certain amount? Or, hey, do I want to, I had a great month this month. Do I want to just have a little extra to go out and grab a pizza
Go
because
out
I
and
love
have
pizza.
fun.
Yeah, go out and have fun. Exactly. So,
Do you have to be a numbers person to dig in and budget?
excellent question. Answer is absolutely not. It's not about the numbers so much as it is, about the peace of mind.
Yeah.
I'll say that again. It's not about the numbers so much as it's about the peace of mind that you have with budgeting. When I started budgeting, I wouldn't have considered myself an actual numbers person. Maybe you're imagining it's someone with glasses and a pocket protector, and that's the only one who can do budgeting. Definitely not true. There's enough apps out there you can use. We actually have a really good resource we'll touch on later called the Freedom Budget Tracker that's on our website that you can use as well. If you're a numbers person or not, there's enough out there. The point is, again, it's the peace of mind.
When you get to this point where you've gone from financial lack to financial stability, some people call that financial peace. And I really think that kicks in as you start getting your debt payoff plan in place, where you're not truly just in the hole month over month. Shout out to Dave Ramsey and all of his material on that.
Totally.
But then you can also start being intentional, because once you're getting out of the hole, you can also lift your head up a little and realize there are hundreds of ways to make income. There are dozens of ways accessible to me right now where I can add income streams. And so you can get to the point where you're going to financial flexibility, which I would say is where we are now, fairly. Yeah. And that is where you start having those options to say, you know what, I think it's worth it to take a pay cut in my full-time job to have more peace of mind because I've got income coming in over here. Or, you know what, with my business that I run, there's a client that drives me crazy that every night at dinner I'm talking about. This may or may not have happened recently. And I can actually have the real conversation. And if we're not a good fit for each other, I can move on and I can take that pay hit because we've got income coming in other places. So this isn't full financial freedom necessarily, but it's flexibility. It's where you start having choices and options, and what that does to who you are and the worth that you have and what you can do in your day-to-day is unbelievably just powerful.
You were hitting on some really good points because it's definitely a progression, right? Financial freedom is, dare I say it, I don't think of it necessarily even as a destination. I think of it more as a journey at the end of the day, because there is a progression. There's going to be where the beginning is, maybe it is being very strict on a budget. We had a time like that, right? Where we were paying down a lot of debt and we didn't really go out to eat. I mean, we kind of cut out the little entertainment parts of life because we wanted that debt monster paid off at the end of the day, right? Even
before we met each other, when we were both single, for both of us, there were times where we were spending so much less than what we were making intentionally because we had gotten in the hole, because that is what you're taught to do. You're taught to take out loans and to live it up in your 20s and do all the things. And you never get this time back and you only live once, just go for it. And I would say both of us were probably more disciplined early on and recognized we didn't want to go fully down that path. But then there was a time where, and this was 8-9 years ago, where I only had like a $20 budget a month for extra eating out. Like I had very set stuff of, I'm only spending this much. I'm getting spaghetti, I'm getting chicken, I'm getting rice, I'm getting hamburger, and that's it. No sauces, no none of that. I was just doing my protein carbs because I was paying off debt and I was working 4 jobs at the time then. Like there is so much to that story, and sometimes you do have to put your head down and do some grunt work on the front end to get out of where you have been in financial lack. But just getting to that point of stability and where you've built your skill sets and you can start getting paid more for what you do, that then leads you to even more of the financial peace, the financial flexibility, and eventually the financial freedom.
And on that point, number 2, we were going to talk about is actually an escape number. And in the resource I mentioned, the Freedom Budget Tracker, that again, you can go in the description below. Feel free to download it on our website. But with that, there is actually a number and there's a way to calculate it. But basically, that would start with actually doing a budget to know really where you are. But let's talk a little bit about that kind of escape number. How can someone really figure out, okay, when I'm here is when I'll be at a place where if a client wasn't being cooperative, I wouldn't be freaking out about it. I can have the freedom to say, maybe I don't want to work with them, or then getting to a point where maybe you can step away from your job. Like, how do you get there, like, to that escape number?
The logic, the math side of it is very simple. It is just your total monthly essential expenses. And again, that freedom tracker, the freedom budget tracker, that takes you through step by step where you know your number, but it's your housing or your rent included. It's your essential eating. It's your essential car. If you have to. It's all those basics, most likely your phone bill, but it's the basics that no matter what you do, you have to be doing. But it's really taking a hard look at your entertainment, at all the extras, at the trips, at the subscriptions. That is saying, what am I willing to do for a little bit to say like, hey, those are lifestyle options. I'm going to have them again one day, but where can I trim the fat? Yeah, very simply.
100%.
And here's a cool thing. Once you know that number, once again, this is not about reaching a point and it's like, okay, I can't have any extras here. It's about reaching that point where you have the options, where you have the choice again. And once you have that number and replaced, or even when you're over 50% of the way there and you start saying, oh my gosh, how different are things going to be once I have blah, blah, blah. Your conversations change, your work level, your skill level, all of it can upgrade.
And that really leads very well into kind of that gap and how to close it. So when you know your financial freedom number, like the escape number, when you know that, okay, that's great, but how do I close that gap to get to that number, right? And a lot of times we did talk about how we went through a time, we did save, we did cut corners in terms of trimming the fat, as you said, right? We did cut out entertainment. There's an app out there, it's escaping me, but you can download it and it will show you every subscription that you had. We did this with someone. I think they had like 20 subscriptions, even though it was only $10 to $15 a month. I mean, you add that up, they were shocked. They didn't even know their credit card was getting charged that much. And there's an option to hit like cancel all on that. So they cancel all their subscriptions and give themselves like $200 to $300 back a month.
Or pick and choose.
It's
about having that choice back in front of you.
Yes. But with that, there was a time where, yes, we did kind of trim the fat. We said, what don't we actually need here? So there is a part of cutting back for sure. But I would say the best way to close that gap is actually expanding your income circle. Yeah. It's creating more of a pool for you to draw from, not just, oh my gosh, this is the only pool that I have. We've done that in our corporate career. You know, we both started as teachers living below the poverty line. Then we went into corporate training. Ironically, had a very similar journey, which was hilarious when we got together.
Before we met each other,
which was so funny. But we started as teachers below the poverty line, corporate training, moving into sales and business ownership. But with that progression, we have, in our active income, very much expanded our income circle. We've also developed ourselves, which is a choice, but we've developed ourselves to become very valuable for the places that we work too. Yeah. So that, I would say, and we can dive into different types of income streams, but expanding your income circle is one of the best things that you can start doing to start tackling the debt or whatever goal that you have to hit that escape number. So
agreed. We will have future videos where we're talking about real pros and cons behind different income streams, but I will point you to a couple resources we've already built out on the site already. So there's the income stream starter guide, and there is a 90-day activation plan. There's also a skill to income. What did we call it? Skill to income
ratio or something like that.
Look on there. Yeah. You'll see a lot of resources, but you can look at what am I already good at and how could I actually start getting paid for some of these things and how can I grow this income circle? That is something we're excited to talk about in more detail and all the pros and cons, whether you do get into, coaching, whether you get into content creation, into marketing, into sales, or whatever it may be. There are so many ways to do it effectively and do it in a way that you're designed for. and that adds to your life and that you're not stressed out. Once again, the more skills you develop, the less you can do and still get paid more for it.
Yeah.
And the more money you have to invest where your money is making money for you. Obviously, that is your end goal.
And even getting to a point where the less time you need to invest to make that money because you've developed yourself, maybe you've developed systems. So we can go so much further in that. I know we kind of gave many resources. And again, the point of what we do is we want to help bridge the gap of the lack of resources that people have in the financial realm too, which is why we created what we did. But I will say this. Don't discount small beginnings. I remember when I was in the midst of living below the poverty line as a teacher, and my dad, who is very financially savvy, he recommended, hey, I know you're in this situation. Do you even have an extra $25 or $50 a month that you can be putting in an investment account for the long term? And at the time, I was like, Dad, come on, like, 25 or 50 bucks.
It's not going to make a difference.
It's not going to make any difference. Well, I contribute more now. That was 15 years ago.
Well,
Multiply that by all the months, and it's just consistency. That ended up being for my, little $25 to $50 a month set aside. That ended up being very significant. So if you feel like you're looking at your current financial situation, maybe it feels overwhelming, or maybe it seems like this giant mountain. Sometimes it's just, what's that phrase? How do you eat an elephant, right?
but it's the one bite at a time.
One bite at a time, 100%. So
Wealth building is a habit. I think that is the misnomer that so many, and that I definitely, when I was growing up, had no idea, but just how the wealthy think about money very differently than when you don't have it. Yeah. And sometimes when you don't have it, it feels like this mystery or this, I don't know how they do all this stuff, when it truly is simple principles. And again, the more we have these conversations, the more interaction and comments we have, the more resources we can build out here. But our biggest encouragement is that just take the first step. And for some of you, that first step is putting pen to paper on a budget, or looking at your bank account. Sometimes that can be the scariest thing, when the only time you've talked about money before is in fights, and that is very much a sign of you're in lack and you're in poverty. As soon as you start truly honing in on what you have and then stewarding that well, the sky's the limit on what you can do. So very much here for you guys. Our encouragement, as always, as we wrap.
So the 3 points that we talked about here today are what financial freedom actually means, what your escape number is and how to find it, and what that gap is and how to close it. If you do want that freedom budget tracker, go ahead and look in the description below. You will find a link to our website page. That's going to be our resource page with a bunch of resources that you can download for absolutely free that we did create. If you have a question or if there's a topic you'd like to see us cover, please comment below. We do read everyone, and we are very much wanting to create content that will help you just move on in every area of your life.
And remember, you always have a choice to change your life if you choose it.
If you choose it. We'll see you soon.
See you guys.